Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tahir Naeem and we are studying Introduction to Computer. So far, we have covered 11 lecture and today is our lecture number 12. In today's lecture, we will study the computer basic concept or basic concept of computer. So far, in this, we have covered the MS Word or Microsoft Word. Today, we will study the basic concepts of computer. This is the outline of our today lecture. First of all, we will discuss computer, then we will discuss data, then we will discuss different types of data, then we will discuss information, then we will discuss electronic data processing or also known as EDP, then we will discuss functions of EDP or electronic data processing, then we will discuss characteristics of computer. Then, last but not least, we will discuss the elements of different elements of electronic data processing or EDP. So let's start with computer. The word computer is derived from Latin word computer, which means to compute. So, in basically, the computer was primarily designed for the calculation or computation. A computer, we can define a computer in different way. So this most straightforward or the simple definition which we can say is the computer is a device, electronic device, which makes our work easier, but this definition also contains some deficiency. So we can also define computer is an electronic device that can perform arithmetic and logical operation at high speed. So basically, computer is primarily nowadays anything that perform arithmetic operation or logical operation at very fast speed is called computer. So basically, what is arithmetic and what is logical operations? So basically, operations are the jobs which is performed, are the tasks which is performed by the computer, while arithmetic operations are jobs or tasks are those jobs which involves addition, multiplication, or anything related to mathematics, arithmetics. While logical operations are those in which when we compare two or more statement and reduce a result from comparing the statement as the logical operation. While all this is performed by computer at a very high speed. A computer is an electronic data processor because it can store, process, and retrieve data whenever desired. So basically, we can also define computer which takes input or which process the data, because it will store the data, it will process the data and retrieve whenever needed by the user. Data. Data is a Latin word which means something given. This is the plural while the singular is datum. So basically, whenever we give something to, when we give something or produce something, that is, when we give something, it is data. Anything in raw form not meaningful like numbers, words, facts are known as data. So basically, anything in raw form or not organized form like numbers like 1, 2, 3 or 10 or 56, or let's suppose different words on like without intention of carrying any meaning, and facts these are known as data. Data is, we can also define data is the collection of raw, unorganized, but related facts and figures that can be organized is given value of input. So basically, anything which is unorganized or raw, but they can be related. They can be put in such a way that it becomes meaningful. So, and they are very related to the facts and figures. Whenever we give input, when value is input is data. So here I will give you the example of whenever you took the entrance whenever you applied for cohort admission in cohort University of Science and Technology. So you have also filled the form in KCMS where your name, addresses, and marks are required. You are required to enter these different information which is the admission form. So basically these are just numbers, while it is not used for particular purpose. So that's we can call admission. The data written on the admission form are like name, addresses, and marks are we consider it data. Data is raw material used as input. So basically data, whenever we give input to computer or any other electronic device, it is known as data. So there are different categories of data. So there are here we are classifying data into three types. And it can be in some books there are five types of data, but here we'll try to keep these things simple. So basically we can classify data on the basis of alphabetic data. Alphabetic data is the name suggests alphabet stand from letters A to Z, while anything alphabetic data consists of capital letters from any possible representation of alphabet, like capital letters from A to Z, or small letters from A up to Z. Numeric data. Numeric data is the name suggests numeric corresponds to numbers. So any decimal number from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9 is considered as a decimal number, while there are some other possibilities of different decimal numbers when we use the decimal point notation, like float data. So basically numeric data are those data which consist of numbers. Alphanumeric data, so basically is the name suggests that it also contains alphabetic and it also contains numeric data. So it is a combination of alphabetic, numeric, and along with a special characters or symbol which we know is used in data, like steric, hash, underscore, like that. These are the special characters which is also depicted on the keyboard. So these the combination of these things makes alphanumeric data. Information. So information is the raw data that has been manipulated and organized in the form of result output upon which decision is taken. As we have previously discussed, that anything which we give computer is an input is called data, while this raw data, when it is organized, when it is manipulated, when it is processed and arranged in the form of result or output in the form of output on which we can take the decision, is called information. Information is meaningful process data which is relevant and accurate, and it can be used in decision making process. As we are defining information, every time we use that this is meaningful, it carries some meaning, it has some value. while the data is processed, it doesn't need any further processing. It is sorted and it is arranged in a way which is very useful, and it is also very relevant and accurate. Relevant and accurate means that it is related as inside the in a program, while accurate means that they are up to date and they doesn't carry any errors, and which then we use which then this information is the base for any logical reasoning, and take a decision based upon these information is processed, data obtained, and is output after data processing. So basically, first when information is obtained, while data is also obtained and output is produced or generated as a result of data processing. Like as we were discussing previously that student data in admission form is data, while this information, when these data are processed in which the criteria is applied of admission of the admission criteria, and merit list is formed according to the having highest numbers at the top, while the lowest number taken at a student taken lowest number is placed at the bottom of the list. There are some other examples like voucher, bills, fee fee registration, card, and library cards. Electronic data processing. Raw data is transformed into information by processing it. So basically, when raw data is manipulated or which is acted upon and processed, then it becomes information. The activity of processing data using a computer is known as electronic data processing. So basically, processing is the specific function or job which is done, while electronic data processing is the activity of processing done inside the computer is called electronic data processing. So basically, electronic means that physical. If we process the data physically, like traditional data processing where data is processed traditionally, while electronic data processing represents the processing of data electronically. I will give you example of if I give you the paper and you research after attempting to solve the paper in the physical exam, and you are giving me back the physical paper is the electronic data processing. Conventional data processing, while electronic data processing consists of when all these functions are performed through computer is called electronic data processing. So basically, electronics data processing consists of series of steps, actions, or operations that convert data into meaningful information. So basically, electronic data processing have different steps or logical groups, logical methods of steps across operate that convert data into meaningful information. EDP transform input into output. So basically, the EDP will convert raw data into information. When data entered into a computer and manipulated, formulated, emerge strong sort of passing through mathematical and statistical formula is known as EDP. So basically, when we say that data is manipulated, formulated, and arranged, it means that he has performed his job or anything assigned to it. And if he's sick, then he come back in process all the data or different work area. So here is the chart. So here is basically the simplest form of electronic data processing or traditional data processing. So basically, first you, as you can see in this diagram, that data is forwarded or inserted into input. Input is this not my specialty or any one of them. We have to go towards a specific personnel who perform it. While an input is the raw form of any combination of vaccine. So basically, raw data is a raw data is a raw data is used, while processing is basically when input is captured or taken, then this input is processed or manipulated into and this is further refined by different methods or the different programs which is according to different programs, the instructions which is followed, and this data is processed. While after processing data it is sent to output. There may contains different types of output like hard output and soft output. Hard output consists of those output which is on the paper of a form, like if we send a file into a printer and it is printed, it is hard output. While soft output are those outputs which is shown on the computer screen. We are mostly using soft output, but hard output option is also available. After this output is obtained, this the final result or the data is considered information, because relevant, because all the data we have captured is a farming information. So here are the different steps involved for data electronic data processing, like data. So first of all, we give a data to data is present, while this data is not entered into a computer. It may be on the paper or any other form, but not on the electronically in electronic form. So first of all, we will capture the data, the first step, and the second step will be manipulation of data, while third steps will be a result of output, while fourth step will be information. These are the different process of electronic data processing. Functions of EDP. So there are different functions of electronic data processing, or different steps of electronic data processing. The first step of electronic data processing is capturing the input data. Data must be originated in some form and verified for accuracy prior to the further processing. So the basic concept is whenever you want to enter the data or process the data, you want to enter the data, then you first want to ensure the data is accurate and it doesn't contain errors on, because a lot of unreliable decision, because when data is processed, then it may result in inaccurate or unreliable results. Therefore the data must be vetted for any errors. So before processing data, it must be verified that it is accurate for further processing. Data is recorded on the paper and then inserted into the computer. So the normal method to scrutinize the data is that it is written on the piece of paper, and then it is tallied, and it is then checked and double checked that it doesn't contain any errors, and then transferred and then entered and are inserted into the system. Data is obtained through counting or some form of measuring device. So commonly there are two methods used for data data. One is counting of the data, and the other is with the help of some form of measuring device. Data is obtained by counting is discrete data. So basically, whenever we count the data, then this type of data is called discrete data. Like here I am giving you example of total number of students. So basically, whenever I want to know how many students in the class I have, I will count them one by one in my class, and now tally it, and will know the total number of students in my class. So this kind of data is called discrete data, or we can also define discrete data is that it is accurate data, or it is pinpoint accurate, or it's a very accurate data. As you can know that there is no other discrepancies in the data. So this type of data is called discrete data, and it is discrete data is obtained by counting. Data obtained through measurement is continuous data. Like there are some form of data, and the second data are those data which is continuous, which is measured and having continuous flow. Like here there are two example, like speed of speedometer. Because if you are going on the motorcycle or car or any bus or any other transport vehicle, then you are going constantly, and the speed is shown through speedometer. And it can change constantly. It can, if you increases the speed, it will increase the speedometer, while if you decreases the speed, the speedometer will show the decreased speed. While the other is temperature, because temperature doesn't remain constant, then we normally take the average temperature, because nowadays because it's a summer time, and you constantly monitor the temperature by having that how much temperature today is, and you get the relevant term, like 45 degree, 40 degree, or 30 degree. So it's not very accurate, it's near to the value. So this type of data is called continuous data. So these are the two types of data: discrete data and continuous data. Manipulating the data. So the second step of function of electronic data processing is manipulation of the data. So in manipulation, when data is, we know the data in first step, data is entered. So the gathered data is further refined in the manipulation. Classifying, there are some steps in manipulation of data. First step includes classifying. As you know that classification means that we organize item of similar characteristics or similar nature into a group or class. As like here I am giving you example of, if I divide the class on the basis of gender, like male, female, then it is classification by gender. I can classify a class according to age group, like 23 years age group, and about 24 or 23-year age group, or according to geographic. Then this classification is based on some characteristic, a particular characteristics. This is called classification. The second steps, when data is classified according to some characteristic, then it is sorted. Sorted means that whenever we want to say that arrange in a logical order. In arrange in a logical order means that it may be in upper order, in descending order, or ascending order. So some order is brought into the data, and it is sorted according to these according to, like if I sort class, if I want to draw a line and sort the students according to their height. So basically I'm arranging the line according to the height of the students. Calculation. The third step is the calculation. Basically, calculation is also called arithmetic manipulation. Arithmetic manipulation means that if the process involves any mathematical function like addition, subtraction, or any other function, mathematical function, this is called arithmetic manipulation, and this step is called calculation. Summarizing. After calculating the data, then it is summarized, the data is reduced into concise and usable form, because up until now data is not in a usable form, so we summarize the data, because then we will be able to use that data, and also in a concise form, so that it's easy to interpret the data, it's easy to get the result from data, or it is easy to draw the conclusion from the data, and it is usable, and we are able to use data into our data. So the third step, or the third function of electronic data processing, is managing the output result. Data is gathered and manipulated according to desired output. The data is ready to be presented. So when data is gathered and manipulated, then after applying these steps, the data will be according to data will be in a shape which will be according to our requirement, or according to our wishes. So this data will be ready to be presented. So output is displayed in screen. So when data is in final form, then it is normally shown on the screen. This type of output is called soft output, or soft data, because we can see it but we cannot touch it. This is called a soft copy of the data. Data is saved as a file and printed. So there is another form, or another way of presenting the data, that we save it in a file, and command the printer to print the document, and the resulting data will be presentable in a hard copy, which is called, when data is printed, then it is called hard copy of data, in which we can touch, and we can physically possess. This is called hard copy of data. Characteristics of computer. So there are some characteristics which is unique to computer. First of all, let's discuss it's automatic, it's reprogrammable, data processor, speedy, accurate, diligent, versatile, power of remembrance, no IQ, and no feeling. These are the qualities of computer which computer possess, and we will discuss in detail one by one on the next slides. Automatic. So automatic means that it automatically, or it carry out the instruction with minimum human intervention, because it perform its function without the need of human intervention. This is called automatic. Reprogrammable. So basically it stores instruction in the form of program which can be changed to perform other tasks. So basically when we write a program, it is to perform a specific task. So basically we can change the program, or we can run another program which is designed to perform other tasks. So it is generally that the computer is reprogrammable. Data processor. It carries out operation on data to produce information. Speedy. As the name suggests, the speed is that it's fast. we can say it perform its operation at a very high speed, usually measured in millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond, and picosecond. So basically computer execution is very fast, which is measured in the fractions of second, of hundred, thousand, million of seconds. Accurate, we can also say it's reliable. The accuracy is high and its degree of accuracy depends on its design. So basically computer perform its function very accurate. Normally the computer error is a result of when if we enter the data wrongly, like incorrect input or unreliable programs. These are the main causes of error zone, and it has a specific term, garbage in garbage out gigo. Diligent, it's free from monotony, tiredness, and lack of concentration. So basically these three qualities are have the humans have these three qualities because we suffer from monotony, tiredness, and we often lose our concentration if the job is repetitive, or if it's physically demanding. Whereas computer is free from all the three qualities. It can continuously for work for hours creative without creating any error or grumbling. So basically computer, whenever we start the computer, it's operate normally without any errors. Versatile, it is capable of performing almost any task if the task is reduced to a finite series of logical steps. So basically computer is designed that it can perform any task, and it can perform any task if we break down the task into very logical steps. Power of remembrance. So basically computer system stores the information and we can retrieve it, or we can access them whenever we have need of it. So basically computer only loses information or forgets information whenever we delete these information ourselves. No IQ, a computer is a dummy device. It performs the function when whatever we told it to do. So it cannot take its own decision in any regard without programming. No feeling, computer have no emotions. The judgment is based on the instruction given to them in the form of programs that are written by human beings. Elements of ADP. There are basically four elements of ADP, or there are four parts of electronic data processing. So these four constitutes the electronic data processing. First is hardware, second is software, third is procedure, and fourth is personnel. So hardware is basically any here hardware is basically physical component of computer, like hard disk, monitor, anything which we can touch is called physical component, and it is called hardware. Any even the wires can be considered is hardware. Basically anything which we can touch is called hardware. Or electronics or mechanical components of computer is called hardware, like keyboard, CPU, monitor, anything which we can touch on. Software. Software is basically the logical component of computer. So logical component of computer stands for those components which we cannot touch or we cannot see. These are the logical components, like computer programs, because routines and packages. Basically these are the written codes which we have which the programmer have written to control the operations of computer, like operating system. Operating system means that like operating system controls the or all functions of computer, like any other like browsers. So basically these are all the software. Procedure is basically steps are the steps to perform a specific task, are procedures. So procedure, we can say the procedure is the way the tasks should be performed or done is called procedure. The way with which specific objective is achieved is the Personnels are basically the persons involved in the whole process of electronic data processing. Like there are various personnel involved in electronic data processing. Here are the some example, like data entry operator. As the name suggests, it we can also say it KPO or key punch operator, where its basic task is to enter the data into electronic data processing. Is Kohort University, as you can see that data is entered at various point into the LMS or any other thing. This is called these are data entry operator. While users are those people who uses the system, as the students are considered, can be considered is the user of the system, because it's benefit from the system, it's obtain the information from the system. Administrator, basically administrator, the primary task of administrator is to run the system. So basically the person who is in charge of running the program smoothly is called administrator. It ensures that the program, it ensures that the program or the system is run smoothly without any fault or difficulty. Programmer, basically programmer is a person who write the steps or for the performance of a task in a specific language, like C++, Java. You may have heard of C++, Java, C sharp, HTML. All are these are computer programs, and the computer programmer is able to write codes in these specific programs. These are called programmer. System analyst is a person who analyze the system, who create the system, and how it should function. Like there is another analogy, like like architect. Is the architect is responsible for conceptualizing the building and draw it down in the details. So these are the so system analyst is responsible for the logical drawing of the whole data whole system is called system analyst. While programmer write it is, you can say the programmer write the program or the program or the the project into a specific computer program. These are the references from where I have prepared my lecture. Thank you. If you have any questions regarding today's lecture, feel free to contact me. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.